All right, so it has been a while since we've seen you guys. So just to catch up, let's start with Greg. Last time we saw you, you had just finished Spider Noir. So how was Yellowstone Country?
Well, I went from Spider Noir. I rolled right into Lucky with Jonathan.
That's amazing.
Anya Taylor-Joy, and then which was
amazing.
Fantastic experience. And our third collaboration now, we did Banshee and Your Friends and Neighbors, and now Lucky. And Anya was incredible, and I'm excited. I think that's coming out this year, 2026 at some point.
Yes.
I think sometime around summer. Yeah.
I'll take it. And then I went to the Sheridan universe for a couple of shows.
Yeah.
So
Man, you are booked and busy, Greg Yaitanes. Like
I am. I have been. I'm like I'm going into 2026 fresh though. I'm curious what the next adventure will be.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Nice.
So
It's just wild to me, this kind of the output that Sheridan is doing here. 4 Yellowstones, Mayor of Kingstown, Tulsa King, Lioness, and Landman. This is wild.
and he writes all the episodes of I think he writes all the episodes for Lioness, the original Yellowstone, Mayor of Kingstown, and Landman for sure.
How do you write that much? How's that even possible?
I've been discussing it with people. I don't understand it because I would really like to increase my output, but I don't understand how he can do all that.
Yeah.
My understanding is like everything he goes and thinks about it, and then it just comes out, and that's the draft. There's no blue pages ever.
That's
I wasn't working with.
Is my understanding.
I didn't work with him. I haven't met Taylor, but he's trusted the 2 spin-offs with 2 great showrunners, one of which was Chad Fian, who wrote for Banshee.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
How could he? I mean, how could he meet with people? He's got to be writing scripts. Like he's on one of those like diets where he wakes up. It's like the Kobe Bryant workout plan. He's up at 4 a.m.
I think he's up at 4 a.m. with a plate of cocaine. And
exactly.
It's the Sorkin method.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Jonathan, the last time we saw you was February of 2023.
Oh my
for
God,
Shane
it's
Black's
changed since
Long
then.
Kiss Goodnight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you dialed in from the Warrior Season 3 production offices.
Is that right?
So, yeah,
a long
I just
time
want to
ago.
say, congratulations on Season 3, on the Netflix run that was there. And what an incredible season. And for me, I was just watching part of the final episode again. What a great capstone for the series. If there's never a Season 4, it still is an amazing place where it all landed.
Yeah, you're talking about Warrior. To me, that was like
Several lifetimes ago.
6 projects ago. I know.
Yeah.
It's a long time. But it was great that we got to do a 3rd season because every time we were ready to do another season, somebody would buy HBO and it would all go to hell. And so, I have no doubt if we were doing a season 4, it would be, getting planned right now. So
Or Netflix.
Maybe Sarandos will do it. Like maybe,
You just gotta wait for something to be one of these conglomerations to be sold again. Like, and then
I think
everything will
everyone's
change.
getting older. It would be a very different show. But
very different.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I want to ask you about, and I'm not asking any details, but you are writing a Star Wars, which is a
past
very
tense.
special.
I wrote one.
You wrote a Star Wars.
You wrote a Star Wars. Yeah, past tense.
Yes.
So my question to you is, how do you go about writing a Star Wars as a feature versus how you do seasons? And just in general, how do you approach what story should be told in television versus film and vice versa?
I work on both sides, and it's very different. Like when you're thinking of a story, if you have a really clean beginning, middle, and end, it's just sort of something you instinctively know. With Star Wars, I was invited to do a movie, not a show. I think I'd have been less interested in doing a Star Wars show, but the idea of doing a movie and kind of trying to, enter that pantheon and put some of my own stuff into it, that was just super exciting. But because it was never meant to be anything but a movie, it was, we designed it like a movie.
You've got some Star Wars stuff behind you. We can see in shot.
Yeah, there's a little swag there. Yeah, there's my chair back from the movie set, and then some figures who do not appear in my movie. So.
Okay, all right. We can process of elimination. We're gonna figure out what the movie's about.
I can only say what's already out there, but it's all brand new stuff. It's not, this is we're trying to open up new territory, so we did not go back to legacy characters or anything. Only the loosest connectivity to what's already been told. We're in a new timeline, and we're doing something new.
This is the way. Was it shot in England?
It is still being shot. I think we're wrapping this week. So
wow.
yes. So yeah, we've been out. Yes.
And your history with Sean, the director, goes way back, right?
Well, yeah, that's why he invited me to do it. It was this is our fourth collaboration. It's our third movie. It's the third movie I've written that he's directing, and it's the fourth one we've done together. He also produced a movie I wrote with me. So yeah, we've known each other a long time.
Did the relationship working on this feel like familiar and similar in the ways that the previous ones did, or did it feel like different because of the property and the universe?
I think we both felt a tremendous weight of responsibility and the fear that comes with that.
And I like that.
And he certainly, as the director and as the sort of the visionary of the movie, I think he feels the responsibility tremendously. And as a result, I think it was for him the most demanding thing he's done. And the trickle-down effect was it was the most demanding thing I've ever done because I was in it with him from the very beginning. And it's I think we both realized it is an insane amount of work, more than any other movie either of us has ever worked on.
I really appreciate this answer, Jonathan, because in some ways, I think the tempting answer would be look, we've been doing this together a long time. It was another, just it was in some ways just another job. But I think the fan in me is no, you want to hear this is we had to find some different pants to put on.
JT, did it start with Sean wanting to do a Star Wars film, or you having an idea for a Star Wars film? How did it? What was the genesis?
It started with Sean getting called and asked to do a Star Wars film, and him having some talk saying, I want to pick the writer, I want to figure out what I want to do, et cetera. So by the time he came to me, he was already planning to do a Star Wars movie, and then he kind of told me sort of what would get him excited, and then I started developing different ideas with him and his team, and the one that got him excited is the one we then developed together. So yeah, he had a very strong idea of sort of story-wise and emotion-wise and kind of movement-wise what he wanted to do, and so my job was to just kind of come up with what that looked like and then fine-tune it with him.
Wow. And is it for both of you, for you coming in as a writer on this versus being a showrunner, or for Greg coming in as a television director versus a television showrunner, does that role, when you're doing that kind of more focused role, is it easier? Are you able to kind of relax and be I don't have to worry about all that shit? Somebody else is going to take that?
You want to go first, Greg, or you want me to go first?
You go first.
I will tell you, having spent quite a bit of time out there with him, seeing what the scope of what he's doing, it is immensely a relief that it's not me. It is. It's so big and it's so constant and it's all consuming. As a writer, I always feel when I write a movie as opposed to a TV show that gets handed off to a director, I always feel a little bit of grief that I'm no longer controlling the story, and I'm no longer in control of what happens. And I try to maintain really good relationships with those directors so I can at least have some unsolicited input. But it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, thankfully, it's not my problem. And on the other hand, there is something nice about seeing it through to the end. And, I'm grateful that I've worked so long with Sean that, he kept me in the process the whole way through. But ultimately, it's all on his shoulders, and he's the decision maker. And I'm there to just service it at that point.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking, I had forgotten, I had to go back and look at your IMDb. I forgot you did C, so it's not like you haven't done these hugely ambitious, big
go into a forest, see what's
in
the
there. Snow.
I don't think even a whole season of C compares to a Star Wars movie.
Is it the number? What's that? When we talk about the complexity like this, and Greg, like you saw this too from from House of the Dragon. Like, is it the number of people? Is it like just the number of bodies that are involved? Is it the number of locations? Like, where does the complexity really bite you on these gigantic ones? Do you think?
I mean, on House of the Dragon, we had the crew was 3,000 people all the way
That's
across.
A lot of people.
You know,
Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, that includes all the everybody building everything. That's crews in multiple countries. That's all that infrastructure. So I would imagine it was some of the same. I mean, there was a lot of comparisons to the work I was doing on Dune with the work I was doing on House of the Dragons. Fussy costumes. It's everything's in a land of make believe. Torches. There's dragons. There's a lot of layers and components, and you can easily get in the weeds. Miguel, when I was doing that show, had good advice. He's just like, just start shooting and start fixing things as you go, as you start rolling takes. Otherwise, you will never get out of the gate. You'll never get everything right at once. It just has to start getting onto film. And it was actually a great piece of advice. But the budget of that first season was huge, and the budget of my 3 episodes, since they were the bigger ones, was a third of that season's budget, I would say. So there's also that aspect too, where it played a little bit more like a film. If I said something, it would suddenly get in motion. And when you have that many people, you have to be careful about just even what you think, because someone will try to act on it.
Wow. Dang, that's amazing. And we just had Ryan on for Maltese Falcon a couple weeks ago, and he's like, turning the corner and on the new season and getting close. So it's exciting stuff. Amazing. Well, we are thrilled. You guys have both been on here separately, but this is the first time the team up of the creators of Banshee, which I was so pleased to go back and watch the whole thing, and have turned on many people. My trainers, have got those guys into Banshee and other people. But how did you guys originally meet, I guess, is one question. I don't think we've gotten that story.
I had sold Banshee, but to HBO. And then, I'd gotten Alan Ball as my exec producer. We took it in. We sold it to HBO at
under
some
the name
point.
Hood.
That's right. That's right. The first draft was Hood. We sold it to HBO, and
This is for Cinemax, or
no, it was originally for HBO,
Oh,
and then after like a year of development and writing the pilot, etc. Cinemax decided to do original programming, and they liked the show, so they pulled it over to Cinemax, and I didn't know the first thing about making television. And today it would never have worked out that way. Today they wouldn't have let me maintain a position, but what they basically said was, you run the room and you do everything, but you need somebody who knows how to build a television show. And so they set up for Alan and I 3 meetings, and they all happened on the same day in Alan's office. And the funny part of those meetings was Greg came in as sort of the most accomplished and experienced director and producer of television of anyone else we met with. And yet he also came in having done the most work for the meeting. And it was very clear afterwards that there was only one choice. And so they hired Greg, and then Greg basically taught me how to make television.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. What'd that look like, Greg, from your side?
I mean, I went in, my work on House was getting just my best behind the scenes production work. It was the first show I was producing on. And I had met Kerry Antholis just through the Greek community socially. And he had been keeping tabs on me. And when they were developing original programming at Cinemax, they needed to make these things at a price. And Alan's other show, True Blood, that was going at the time was, very expensive show for what Cinemax was able to do. So they needed someone that could, make something, look big and be on the cheap. So I got, and, as I was coming to the end of House, it was in that final season, I wanted 2 things, which was to work with HBO and to work with Alan Ball. So, I shit you not, the script showed up, and I saw it immediately and then put together. I usually make a deck or some sort of presentation when I go in for a meeting on a pilot, but in this particular case, I was inspired to make like a trailer out of other movies for Banshee, which I can send you guys if you're curious, and see how the show lived up. But it had aspects. It really played the like fighting and fucking aspect of that show into that, which was like things like history of violence and
amazing.
What was the other one? Not Narc. Maybe Narc. What was that Jason Patrick movie that was in there? It was it was just textural stuff, some grabs from Witness, just trying to pull it together and to show the world. And then the last meeting I had of my 3 meetings, first I met with HBO, and they didn't care that I had won the Emmy for directing. They're like, we have 10 people that have won the Emmy for directing around here, and we know where the bodies are buried. We know that like those can be bullshit sometimes, like so and so won and they didn't do shit on that pilot. And it was interesting to have that conversation, but they were most concerned with and what they were looking for was a unique position, which was more like a director showrunner, in the sense that they didn't think bringing in the scripts were really good and Jonathan's work was great, so they didn't want to bring in a elder writer, like another writer showrunner. They wanted someone that could that Jonathan could write scripts and I could physically make the show at a price. And I asked all the right questions in terms of like, will I have a pot of money to work from? Meaning, can I allocate money to different places? And that seemed to impress. But most of all, the thing I think that caught their ear was that there were 4 scripts at the time, and I wanted to direct the 4th episode as the pilot, which came out of a conversation I had with Tim Kring back on Heroes, where he felt like, who also created Crossing Jordan, where he felt like by episode 86 of Crossing Jordan, he's like, that should be the pilot. Like, everybody's lived in, like, we're not explaining everything. It's just like a great, like, what the show is. And so I thought if we made the 4th episode, then we could hide any growing pains in it. And they sort of tilted their head to that idea. And then
every time I've told that story to anyone in the TV business about how when we started, we didn't shoot the 1st episode, we shot the 4th episode, then we shot the 2nd and the 6th, and then
second and
5th, and then the 3rd and 6th, and then the pilot. Right? That's how we did it. And as a result, you get all your actors already well in their groove with the characters. You get a crew that already knows what they're doing, and people are always like, that's the most amazing thing ever. But you can only do that when you have a producing director who's there for the whole thing and doing a good chunk of it. Like, it's never even occurred to me to try to do that again. But
it worked well, because I think it took out all, like, I've worked on previous pilots where everybody is so terrified that like this is the first time the audience is going to see, and by the time we got to shooting it 6th or wherever it was, middle, 2nd, 3rd of the season, last third of the season, everybody was super comfortable, and we ended our production in New York. Like the opening sequence of New York was the very last days of production.
Amazing. I think because we talked about this with Hoon, and he talked about how you're trying so hard just to figure out what the hell you're doing at the beginning, and so having that ability to do that and then come around.
It made a good. And plus, you can just see, like, if you go look at episode 4, you can just see the rhythm is subtly different. Then it just took we did that. We took a short break, evaluated if it was working, and then went into production. So we had S.J. Clarkson did the next block, and she was in prep while we were cutting and seeing if if the cast was working, if there was anything we needed to go back and rethink. And I picked episode 4 because episode 4 had the same elements as the pilot. Like, I was like, oh, you're going to go see all the people and the cast in this particular way, and it could really.
It's got the great heist going on.
It has that great museum heist.
The only thing that's funny when you go back and look at it is Hoon. When he shows up in episode 4, I think, after we shot that episode, he got into crazy good shape because he was going to have to wear all these odd outfits. So, so you go, if you watch the show in order, then you get to episode 4, he looks a little doughier in episode 4. and then for the rest of the episodes, it goes away just because in between he got into crazy good shape.
Yeah,
He
I
had a
remember
big
that.
lunch.
Like in 2
He had a
weeks,
big
he
lunch.
transformed himself.
Yeah.
That's
It was
really
crazy. But then that last meeting was with Jonathan and co-creator David Schickler, and and then that turned into that meeting went from there into some kind of breakfast, and I just remember Jonathan. My impression was just he was quiet and listening and a little bit on his phone, and David had a lot of questions for me, and David ended up leaving the show after the first season, but it was and then it was it was really, and I think. And I've carried this into the film work that I've been doing is just it's just I don't know how to not work closely with the writer. Probably I imagine how Sean and Tropper worked on Star Wars. Jonathan and I we would go. The fun part for me was going into the room, and Jonathan and I would go just get together. He and I always before the season aired, so that we weren't kind of had the noise of the fan experience in our heads, and we would go orange cone out the beats. But I remember they flew me to New York for Jonathan and I to work, and then we were kind of talking about things, and Jonathan's just sort of in his chair, and he's like, why don't we go across the street and go watch the Raid 2? And I'm like, great idea. It was one of my fun playing hooky.
I forgot where we were working, but I noticed walking in that the Raid 2 was playing across the street. I'm like, why are we sitting here?
It's obvious what we're supposed to be doing.
I remember too, the other vivid memory was at Comic-Con when we came up with Nola Longshadow, and which led to Chayton and the idea that Nola would have her tomahawk weapon. I remember being on an escalator when we were literally on an escalator, I think at Comic-Con, when we hatched that whole idea of who she was.
in one ride. Wow.
It was fun. It was just I think we played a lot of wouldn't it be cool if, and we would have those conversations because we also grew up on the same 80s, 90s genre movies. We had a lot in common that way. But I tell other showrunners and other people I've worked with that ask me about that experience, because Jonathan and I work together a lot, what he's like and what the experiences are like to work with. And the first word that pops into mind is undefensive. Jonathan.
That's not really true. No,
well,
it's an act. It's all an act.
So sharp. That was so quick. Jonathan would always say, what was so interesting was, and he said something similar when his book was being adapted. And that just the script is there, not talking about other ideas. Never the script is still there. It's still written. It hasn't gone anywhere. Nothing's changed. So we would go down these threads, sometimes come back to where we started, and sometimes it would lead to another interesting idea. It wasn't always, and I haven't really before or since seen somebody that worked that way, where it's oh, okay, let's just jam on that idea for a second and see where it takes us. And then
because the trick was I didn't know what I was doing. So it was literally my first experience. I think the first day we shot on Banshee was the first time I'd ever been on a TV set. The only place I'd ever been in my life before that was I was invited one day to the set of Spider-Man 2. Okay. And I was on, and other than that, I'd never been on a set. I had no idea how any of it worked. And that was the weird thing about having this interview with Greg. I was interviewing someone for a job I didn't understand at all. So it was Alan more than me. I was just meeting him to see what he seemed like. And he just seemed like a guy who, first of all, who didn't lose his cool, and also seemed to know everything there was to know about what we were trying to do. And I've seen now in years since, when I've watched it happen to other people, when you're an inexperienced writer and you come in, they'll let you stay in the room, but they'll bring in a showrunner. And I was really lucky that they brought in somebody who wasn't going to replace me in the room, so that I could Greg gradually trained me to sort of take over showrunning duties. But the pressure was never on me from day one because Greg was doing it.
And it was fun to go to Jonathan with look, we need to make, we call it bottle episode, but episode 7 of season 1, the one with Oleg and Carrie fighting in the attic, that was a 6-day episode. We were so tight. That first season was $32 million for 10 episodes. It was pretty tight. It was pretty intense, even 10 years ago, 12 years ago standards. And Jonathan's okay, cool. And then could construct it. And then also, which was great, Jonathan and I, like he wrote and I directed all the origin and what eventually became the Banshee saga, which was all the years that Lucas was in prison, what was happening in and around the characters of Banshee. So that's, which is great because that's on YouTube and still lives out there today. But so we were, and there was, I came in thinking like, these are all the things that I think I've seen happen on a show. And the fact that one of the things was, that content really paid off because we came out with such a bang. People were looking for more, and we had like all this online content that people could, fans could sort of deep dive and
you guys were doing the leading edge of live tweeting and kind of doing social.
I think we were literally the first show to live tweet because Greg had gotten involved in Twitter super early, and none of us even knew what it was. And then he made us all make accounts and start I don't know. You'd have to go back and look. I think we may have been the first show to do it. No,
I think that's right. It's our mutual friend,
my wife,
Biz Stone, who is the reason we're all here today. Introduced us to Greg, and I remember when you guys started doing that. It was very exciting for us at Twitter HQ.
My wife recently sent me something, Greg, an Instagram post that you did or something, and I'm like, "How did you see that?" I was like, "Yeah, that's Greg that we've had on the pod a bunch of times." She's like, "I've been following Greg for over a decade."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because she worked at Twitter with Jason. Back in the day. Wow, amazing. Well, we are thrilled to have you guys here, and in just a few minutes, we are going to get to our episode, tonight's episode, which is Shane Black's Christmas classic, quote unquote, The Nice Guys. Full disclosure, not as Christmassy as Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I will say.
I was thinking that when I was watching. Where the Christmas is.
But I wanted to make a list. Like, I think most of his movies take place on Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And that's how we landed on this. But I had forgotten. I'd only seen this one time. So we're going to get into that in just a minute. Before we do, two quick things. Next week on Escape Hatch, Jason, we're on holiday break, buddy.
Holiday break, baby. We did it. We achieved all our goals for 2025.
I mean, I still have to edit the episodes. I still have to publish the episodes.
My work is done. The creative work is done.
The talent is free.
The talent is wrapped.
That's it. So we are doing our best of Escape Hatch. Our episode goes back 4 years to episode number 75.
Yeah.
Our very first Christmas movie, Die Hard.
Yep.
Woo.
Die Hard.
Great.
The Christmas movie.
A great Christmas movie. A great episode. A really fun episode. We rewatched it to do our best of Die Hard intros.
Yes.
And it was great to revisit. Encourage people to listen to that one.
Yep. So that'll be dropping on Christmas Eve. We will be here for you, listeners, on Christmas Eve.
We will be here for you. Escape your family. Listen to Die Hard with us.
That's right. Can we do some quick Hatch news?
Hatch news from you. What do we got?
Well, we have to pause. For a moment, in all seriousness, and just say R.I.P. to one of the GOATs, Rob Reiner, and his wife, Michelle Singer.
Yeah.
I grew up, we're the exact same age, Greg, but I grew up watching All in the Family and Meathead there. But his opening 7 movie streak, this is Spinal Tap, The Sure Thing, Stand By Me, Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, and A Few Good Men.
An unbelievable run of movies.
And then jump north and you get to American President. It's an incredible run.
Yeah.
Like really unequal. Like Coppola has the best 4 movie streak, but then, blows it. And then, and like Spielberg never really has that, 1941 screws up his run. Kubrick, you have to convince people that Barry Lyndon is amazing, which it shouldn't be that hard, but it stands, it's an argument that you have to have with people, like Matt, who's never seen it. It's like, there's really the Coens, you have to include, The Man Who Wasn't There, which is a favorite of mine, but still the Reiner run is unparalleled in the history of films for a director. Really great.
That was incredible and tragic loss, and seemed like he had a big heart. I know my wife and and her kids, they know the family, and it's beyond being a horrible tragedy. It's a loss. I literally just watched Stand By Me with my oldest
Yeah.
son 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
And I was reminded that my senior quote was in high school, in my yearbook, was from Stand By Me. So
Which quote?
actually, you know what? It was in the trailer and not the film. Interestingly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was in Richard Dreyfuss voiceover, and it was in, this is shows you where I was at 17 years old. It was in each of our lives there's a fall from innocence, a time after which we're never the same.
Wow.
And it was
What an emo film nerd you were. You're using, like,
I mean, such a nerd that he's using trailer quotes.
Trailer quotes.
In a world.
Yeah, exactly.
My yearbook, like my family newsletter for Christmas quotes liberally from the scenes that were not in the theatrical version of Rogue One, but were only in the trailer. Like,
Yeah.
There you
because I
go.
feel-
Okay, perfect.
that trailer. I mean, I was like, man, that would have been a cool scene. Plus,
Yeah.
while we're talking about, we also lost Diane Keaton recently.
Yes.
Who, for me, was actually gave me my first job in the industry.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
was a a real, like, a true mentor to me for about 10 years of work together. We did. I consulted for her on 2 films. I directed her on another, and I kind of helped on these ancillary projects and ideas she had. But she was a great artist, and we lost one of the greats.
Yeah.
Really. That
You
was
know,
the post that my wife sent me, was your post about that, which was really incredible.
Thank you.
Good story.
And it's wonderful that, like, I mean, obviously the tragedy is unspeakably grim, but like the remembrances that people are putting out. Like, I saw one from Kevin Bacon this morning, and like how, like,
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
like Rob Reiner, like what it meant for him, and not just like what it meant for his career to be in A Few Good Men, but that how like generous Reiner was with his time on set. He's like, it was the first time I ever ate lunch with the director on a film or something, and like that seems like the consistent thread of so many people's remembrances is just how, like, generous and big-hearted Reiner was in particular, and it's just that's how I think anyone would hope to be remembered, is to be remembered as generous and loving by your peers and by your loved ones. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
a true loss.
And a legacy that will live on forever.
Yeah.
And be remembered. All right. Well, and continuing on, speaking of legacies that will live forever, guys, the Avengers Doomsday trailer leaked. Jonathan, did you
didn't
get
watch
that
it. I didn't
from
watch
from
it.
like from the deep Marvel people?
Where is
or
it?
the Disney
Send to me.
people? Did they send it to you? No, I haven't.
No,
I haven't
no.
looked at it.
They were shooting across the street from us at Pinewood,
Oh.
and
Oh, that's
it was
funny.
it went on forever, and like it started long before and I was working with a few people who were in the movie, and I was trying to get stuff because
Yeah.
James Marsden's I don't even know who's supposed to be known that they're in it, but he posted
Yeah.
he's in it, but
Yeah.
he was doing our show while he was doing that, and we had to let him out to go, and the schedule kept changing, and like. It was locked down tight, and I don't know if they were just keeping that script under wraps or there was no script, but whatever it was, I have zero. I have zero.
I worked with Joe. I was working with the Russos on Citadel right as they were rolling everybody into Avengers A5, and so it was cool. Like whatever, little bits and bobs I could glean was fun to overhear and nerd out on, but it was pretty tight wraps. I mean, working with the Russos was so great. I mean, working with Joe was fantastic. Like, and the reason I came on to Citadel is because he had to get going on Avengers, and I mean, I was already there working for him, and then it got announced. So I was like, why am I getting called? Like, what's going on? I didn't know what was going on. I just got like, can Greg come out like immediately, if not sooner? And come help, and it was I am very excited for it. I was going to take my son down for a set visit and over the summer, but I ended up right when I was about to do that, got the pilot for Marshall's for
Marshall's,
You're too busy for that.
Yeah.
I know I missed out.
It is amazing. I will just say about this film, if you wanted to ask me like what was the best approach, getting back the original actors and getting back the Russo brothers seems like a good start. So
Seems a
like,
decent bet.
I'm cautiously
Everyone back to
optimistic.
one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing the trailer on Thursday. during
Wasn't
the,
it 4
Avatar.
trailers each week?
That's what they said, but I think there's going to be something's premiering in front of Avatar. So
Yeah, there's like I don't know. These are just all like the nerd
Yeah.
rumor
Yeah,
that Instagram accounts I follow.
Right,
But they always seem to know, or actually it was weird because I just saw one which I screenshot and sent to Oren, who on Noir. It was like Spider-Man Noir fights Nazis. I'm like, they don't fight Nazis. Like, like it's not even it's not even the year it's taking place.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that was one. I'm like, I was so curious, like where there's not even like a shred of something to support that.
Right. Somebody made it up, though.
Somebody made it up.
Last piece of Hatch news, starting today, streaming on Netflix. This morning, Stephen King's Castle Rock.
Oh, shit.
Another
really?
one of your shows, Greg. Yeah.
No kidding. I didn't know that. Maybe it'll find new life. It's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
They've been
launching
licensing
today.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's been on Hulu. That was like a Hulu original, so that's interesting.
Oh, right. Yep. Doing it. The
No
new
kidding.
media
Both
landscape.
seasons or just season one?
I assume both seasons.
All
I
right.
didn't have a chance to look.
One of
I
my
just saw
favorite episodes that I've made was in first season of Castle Rock, which was the Queen. That episode I was really, really proud of.
Amazing.
Stacey Spacek was mind-boggling.
Yes. Incredible. All right. Are you guys ready to get into this movie?
Let's
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Here we go. The Nice Guys is the chance to unravel a mystery and perhaps repair the broken tapestry of our lives. In the smoggy, swinging grime of 1970s Los Angeles, Jackson Healy and Holland March are the worst guys. Healy, reduced to offering his services beating people up for money, and March, having lost his role as an LAPD detective after going on a never-ending bender following the death of his wife that's left him scamming old ladies for money as a shady private investigator. Their paths collide when they're entangled in the web surrounding Amelia Kuttner, a beautiful young girl who is pursuing a dangerous game to expose a deep scheme of corruption between Detroit automakers, the mob, and the Department of Justice. With the help of March's plucky and precocious 14-year-old daughter, Holly, can these two crack the case, expose the crooks, and embark together down a new path, earning their new reputation as the Nice Guys?
It's literally impossible to summarize this movie.
Very, very tough. Okay, Jonathan, what was your first experience with the Nice Guys? And Shane Black in general.
Shane Black in general for me started with Lethal Weapon, which blew my mind. I had been living in Israel when the first Lethal Weapon came out, and I missed it, and I came home and it was still in theaters, and I went repeatedly because there was something about that movie that I had never really experienced before. So that's when I first became aware of Shane Black, became a big fan. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang remains one of my favorite movies ever. And I love sort of like, I've always loved, first of all, how just his writing is so sharp and so funny and so unexpected, and also the way he's so clearly influenced by the old detective novels, which, no one's really doing now, but, doing film noir and detective with his own spin on it. The Nice Guys, of course, I went to as soon as it came out in theaters. Loved it. As I recall, it got the critical reception, but not necessarily the box office that they were hoping. This is, I think at the beginning
we'll
of...
get to it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it just
Like
a
10
minute.
years
And
ago.
by the way, it was great because I was telling my assistant, we got to see this movie. It came out like 3 or 4 years ago because that's how chronology works in my head.
Right.
And then
Plus
I look
5
at
years,
it,
yeah.
and then I go, oh, it was actually 10 years ago.
When I saw Margaret Qualley, you're like, wait, how is she in it?
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't tell. I couldn't remember if it was really long ago or really recently.
Yeah,
And,
I was trying to figure that out.
And and then when it showed up on, I think the first place I saw it again was maybe it was on HBO or something, but like I can't not watch it.
Nice.
It's probably one of my favorite movies.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And Greg, what about you?
Same. Saw Lethal Weapon, and then I remember, I was working throughout the '90s, and that was when like spec sales were going crazy, and I remember when Long Kiss Goodnight spec sold, and it was the biggest spec sale ever. I remember seeing Predator and seeing Shane Black as an actor. Shane Black would like to rent his house out to film productions.
Right.
And I shot an episode of House in his house.
Okay.
And
I'm
he
the
would
exact
like,
opposite.
yeah, I always sound like a nightmare to me. But it's interesting, actually. Like I on the Scout, you know, I snooped around to the extent of like the places that we were going to shoot, and he has like every Hardy Boys, every Nancy Drew, every one of those kinds of collections of books. Every single original copy is in like his study where he works, which is where we kind of took over and had to redress.
What are the modern ones called? They're like Hard Case Crime or something. I think I've written like Allen Collins and folks.
Max Allan Collins wrote Quarry.
Yeah,
He
there's
wrote the
a
Quarry
modern.
novels.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh, cool.
But these were like all those young adult, like, you know, just, I mean, obviously formative. And so, you know, you can definitely draw a lot of lines between this and Lethal Weapon, you know, just that he's so good with male banter, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
And Jason, what about you?
You know, I will say I think Shane Black has been a bit of a blind spot in my Gen X dad movie expertise for like no real reason. It's just like, you know, obviously I love Lethal Weapon as a kid, but I had never seen this movie, and I love Ryan Gosling in particular, and so I don't really know how to explain that. So I watched this movie for the first time this week.
Oh, wow.
And was in fact delighted.
By the way, I think the same thing happened when I came on last time and I picked The Long Kiss Goodnight. I don't think you had
Correct.
seen that either.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Really?
And that's pretty rare for this podcast. We've done, you know, almost 300 episodes, 290-ish, and I think the number of times that it's a completely fresh movie to me, when it's not like a new movie, especially when it's not like, oh, we watched Running Man this week and, you know, it came out this week or whatever, it's pretty few. So yeah, it's fun to get to discover things that I completely whiffed on.
I saw this in the theaters, and I loved Lethal Weapon as a kid, and Predator, obviously. And then, like, for whatever reason, I had never saw Last Boy Scout. I was just sort of like,
oh
tuned
yeah,
out
Last
to
Boy
kind of
Scout.
the
That was
big-
another
big
big spec
action
sale.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I sort of was dialed out. Then Long Kiss Goodnight I watched and bought on DVD and was very much into that. And then Nice Guys we saw in the theater. And I remember specifically watching it and thinking, this was like the second or third time where I was like, I just went into it thinking I don't really like Ryan Gosling. And then I watched it and I was like, oh my God, I love
Crazy.
this guy. Like,
Crazy.
So
yeah,
funny. He's so
It
funny.
is crazy.
Yeah.
It took me 2 viewings on Drive and La La Land. You know, this and La La Land came out in very quick succession.
Oh my God, has it been that long?
Yeah. Maybe 2018, maybe or something. But so I was definitely all in at that point. So by the time he was picked for 2049, like we knew we were going to be in good
Everything
hands.
that was pre-pandemic might as well be 1987. It's like seriously, like the difference between 2018 and like 1993 is essentially indistinguishable in terms of how the information
definitely
is stored
true.
in my brain. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Gosling's ability to do comedy. I mean, this movie,
Yes.
he is
Yes.
laugh out loud funny.
Yeah.
So
and
funny.
you know,
Physically
Physical comedy.
gifted. Yeah.
the physical
Yes.
comedy. That's
Yeah.
the scene when he's sitting on the toilet with
Toilet.
the gun and the magazine and the
Yeah.
cigarette.
Yes.
Like,
Trying to-
I mean, it just. I mean that. Yeah, and you know, having just spent a bunch of time with him, like I felt like I was able to sort of see what were the sort of things he discovered in the moment and what were the things that were orchestrated. But like, you know, he, you know, also even on the set of Star Wars, like he just is so quick with the wit and the humor, and because he does so many dramatic roles, you don't always think about
Right.
it like that. But he's super funny and he loves comedy. And this movie, I laugh out loud so much at this movie. Scenes I've seen already. I just find him so
course.
funny.
Well, Crazy Stupid Love is like low key one of my favorite comedies of the last 20 years. Like I think it is just like absolutely hilarious, and it's like, you know, as funny as Carell is in that movie, like, you know, Gosling really is what sells that movie to me.
Although he's more of a straight man in that one, right? He's setting up Carell.
He is setting up Carell,
but he's
it's
fantastic.
it's such a bit that he's doing though, and I absolutely love Ryan Gosling like that, and so it's like to see a fresh Gosling that I hadn't seen
On Star Wars?
was
Oh,
a
yeah,
real
yes.
gift. Was a
Yeah,
real
yeah.
gift, yeah.
Let's do some quick behind the scenes on this. So, like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, this is taken from a Brett Halliday novel, Blue Murder. And Shane and his co-writer, Anthony Bagarozzi, each started with a different character, like the two main characters, and they each wrote their parts, and then they kind of switched off. So have you ever done anything like that, Jonathan, where you've like split a story based on characters?
No.
For writing?
No. I don't know how you would do that.
Seems crazy.
I don't like co-writing. I'm too
Right.
much of I'm too much of a control freak for that. Yeah.
But you're undefensive, though, so
Right.
that helps.
I'm very open to ideas as long as I write them.
So they, at one point, they worked it as a television pilot, but given the content, it was just too much for standards of practice, so they were not able to get that done. But then they made the decision to move it from the modern day to the 1970s, which I think is an interesting part. We'll talk about it more when we get into the movie, but just kind of like the 70s vibes definitely is an important piece.
I knew so little about going into this movie that when I started, I was like, "Oh, it's a period movie. How interesting!" Like I had no idea that it was like set in the '70s until like until like Papa's Rolling Stones started playing. I was like, "Okay, all right."
Right.
Well, before it starts, they use the old Warner Brothers logo.
Yes.
Right, and
yes.
that got me
cool.
very excited.
I was very
Yes.
excited. Really gets the blood flowing to see that logo. Really strong.
That one hits deep. So they had been trying to make this movie on and off for like 15 years, but finally, after Iron Man 3 in 2013, Joel Silver suggested that Shane go back to the Nice Guys. Crowe and Gosling both accepted within 3 days of being shown the script, based on the chance to get to work together, and it was quickly greenlit. Ultimately, budget on this film was $50 million. Worldwide box office was $63 million. So that's a tough one. How do you what do you do when you do it and it just doesn't go? How do you?
I think it lives on, and I think that was really the beginning of like the decline of box. Right, that was sort of where box office was beginning to decline, and I don't know if it's a fault. And it's kind of a grown-ups movie. It's not. It's hard to get people under a certain age to go see something set in the 70s, and you wouldn't know from seeing the previews, et cetera, just how funny and off the wall it is. So I'll do what most people do, and I'll blame marketing.
That's right.
Nice.
That's great.
Also at the box office, May of 2016. This is going to be familiar for people sounding. Captain America: Civil War, X-Men: Apocalypse, Zootopia, Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, and Deadpool.
It's interesting that
Zootopia was out in 2016. Is it been that long?
It's been
years. That's crazy because it turns out that's like the best franchise they've created in
$1 billion.
And like it's a whole land. It's like the equivalent of Shanghai's Galaxy's Edge at Disney Shanghai is the Zootopia land is what they have instead of it's just a huge. That one really interests me how that one managed to become like the most important thing that they figured out.
Going back to the time warp, it feels like I just took my kids to see Zootopia. But I remember actually at the beginning of Ozark, Jonathan, when you introduced me to Bateman, it was. I remember that he was still recording the voices, going back or whatever. So I guess that would make sense that it was that long ago.
Really good. Okay, that's behind the scenes. Where do you guys want to start?
Who are you picking on? Greg?
Greg, what do you think? What's your first thing you want to hit?
I mean, the first thing I would say, in terms of, the writing is so fun, but the direction, I love that opening with the kid and that first shot where the car is coming over the hill through the window. Yeah. I mean, it says a lot. I mean, for people that don't live in Los Angeles, you think about that all the time. You think about how easy it would be to go and drive down people's, and so just to actualize that and have it blast through the house and then go down to the next person's backyard. I don't know how that doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
And it's just such a great way. It also like how how special a Playboy was back then and those kinds of
Yeah.
things, and a little kid, like it like right out of the gate set the tone of what you were about to watch. But I think about that opening shot when I was rewatching it for this.
It's really shocking. I remember in the theater, like just the entire audience jumped when that happened. And that is a striking way to open your movie.
It is also like you don't see anything made in LA. There's no movie, like there's something coming out. Actually, I saw a trailer for something, and it was so refreshing to see a trailer set in LA. Like there were so many films that did it, but just to be back in our home city is great and exciting. And I miss seeing LA on film.
So just to touch on that, like something he chose stylistically as a director, and I'm going to let you do most of the speaking to this, but you have this car silently appearing through the window until it arrives and makes a noise, right? Also, at one point, Healy's at the bar, Russell Crowe's at the bar, and as he walks away, you see through the glass Gosling swimming in his underwear after the mermaids, right? And then later on, they're riding in a glass elevator, and you see guys being killed behind them in the glass going out the windows, right? And so there was something about like the silence of mayhem, right? Where he was always separating you with this sheet of glass, and you were seeing action happen, not off screen, but almost like off screen, which I thought was something he carried throughout the movie that I really enjoyed.
That's so
It's a
funny.
great cut.
I heard in the behind the scenes somebody said that he loves to have these big fight scenes and intense action violence with characters who are in suits. And so you've got John Boy in his suit and the guys
all
from
those
the
guys
final
getting
car
killed.
show. Yeah. That's super interesting. Yeah, I love that when the elevator opens and they just look out and that guy's bleeding out. And
he's bleeding out through his neck. And this ties into one of the things I was going to mention, which was like the surprising choice to kill off the Quali character, like in the way that they did.
Yes.
It's like the downbeat end of the giant action sequence. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to kill off the fucking MacGuffin in this whole movie right now. Like it doesn't like it doesn't matter at all. Like the missing girl. This is a missing girl story. She's going to get shot in the head like in a long shot at the end of a giant sequence, and like it barely matters. There's no sentimentality to it whatsoever. It's gonna be a joke when we tell the grandmother that she's gone. Like it's like that is a crazy choice, like because you're just like putting out the whole motive force for the movie as just like, oh yeah, that was just for lulz anyway.
One of the things I was going to mention was how often, and this script, I mean, I feel like this script should actually be studied in film school because, like, the amount of pretty much every scene, he subverts your expectation in either a big way or a little way. There's no scene that plays out the way you expect it to play out. And it's almost like he's setting you up for that. You think you've seen this movie before. You think you've seen this scene before. And it's always different. And, like, one of my favorite things he does is there's this classic sort of reluctant hero moment where Gosling, they just got paid $5,000 by Kim Basinger. Gosling wants to stay home and drink. Russell Crowe's going to go investigate, and his daughter calls him the worst detective in the world. And then as Russell Crowe's heading out the door, Gosling gives him this whole speech. It's not the airport. And then he gives this whole speech where you realize, oh my God, this guy's a really good detective. He actually knows everything. He says it's not the airport because they don't allow overflights and blah, blah, blah. He gives this whole speech. He goes, it's going to be the Burbank apartments, and that's apartment. It's the date, and then they go, and he's totally wrong.
Totally wrong.
but the point is, for that one moment, like you had your classic, hero moment, and then it turns out, nope, he's totally wrong. And shooting her in the same way, it's like you thought this whole movie was the quest to find Amelia, and then boom, nope, she doesn't matter.
It's so funny. It's really, really good. Yeah.
Also, the plant and payoff every step through the film, like the opening scene for March is he is in the bathtub, right, soaking in the tub. But on TV, it's the Detroit motor guy being interviewed about the scandal happening for the carburetors or whatever. But the catalytic converters. I don't know if you guys recognized who played that character. That was Gil Gerard, Buck Rogers.
Really?
Oh, no kidding.
Oh,
I didn't catch that.
Wow, I didn't see that.
What a legend.
But
my favorite was the And Stuff runner.
Yes.
Oh,
I was gonna call this the second time that came up. I was like immediately like, oh, we're getting this one more time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You don't have to say And Stuff.
Yeah.
You can just say anal. You don't have to say anal.
You don't have to say anal. Stop. So good.
I'll tell you, I have one of the things that I was going to make notes to talk about was, and this is in all his movies, The Long Kiss Goodnight too, is how every single thing pays off. Nothing is
Yes.
a oneer.
Right.
Nothing is a
Yeah.
one-off. Like,
Yeah.
when he wakes up in that bathtub and he sees that he's written on his hand, "You will never be happy." That is a character beat that you never have to come back to. Right.
Right.
But at the end, you see it's getting like washed off his hand later on after the swimming. And like one of my favorites, again, something that I didn't believe for a minute was going to come back to is when they're interviewing Chet. Right?
Yeah.
Instead of Chet calling himself a projectionist, he calls himself a projectionalist.
Yeah.
And they made fun of the fact that he says projectionalist, and you're like, okay, that was a great joke, and it's over. And then the fact that Chet's a projectionist matters so much at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and then there was something he kind of, I think, might have been riffing on his own thing from The Long Kiss Goodnight, but like you learn early on that Russell Crowe's got an ankle gun. Right. But then you have this moment where Gosling goes for the ankle gun, and in the Long Kiss Goodnight, there's this thing where Brian Cox tells them that he always keeps a gun in his crotch. Right. And then when she's being drowned underwater and his dead body's there, she swims and gets the gun out of his crotch. Right. But here Gosling goes for the gun and it's not there. And and then the final one for me was Gosling telling him at the party that he has no sense of smell. And Russell Crowe going, "You're a detective who can't smell." It's like, and you think that's a great joke. You don't need to touch it again. And then it turns out that's why his wife died, because he couldn't smell the gas leak. Right? And like that level of setup and payoff, I think no one does it as well as him.
Yeah.
That whole reveal, when you get to that part where you reveal that was the house that that was burned down, and it's because of that, and that's why he's a drunk and can't keep his shit together. That I thought was really, really effective. I want to ask you guys one question because there was something that was confusing to me. I was getting my notes together and rewatching part of it. When
you can ask as long as it's not about the plot.
It is about the plot. So Healy comes to break his arm, right? And he gives up his client. Why was he following Amelia? It's because he was hired by an old lady named Lily Glenn, 2 N's. Lily Glenn is never shown on screen. We don't know who that person is, but Amelia's sent Healy to to get rid of the person tracking her. So who put March on that case? Do we think it was Basinger's?
It's not. No, it's not that old woman. Who he says she literally has Coca-Cola glasses. If you paint a mustache on a Volkswagen, she'll think it's Omar Sharif. She was looking at the.
That is an amazing line. You paint a mustache on a Volkswagen, she'll think it's Omar Sharif. Like, that is phenomenal shit.
But I thought she hired him to find Misty. And I thought he was on the trail of Amelia because she was involved with Misty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he wasn't looking for Amelia for Amelia. Okay. He was looking for. He said she's a person of interest. He was just trying to get to her. To get to Misty.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Person of interest. Okay. Very good. Thank you. See, you did it. You got it. Plot
but that's the beauty of Shane Black is at some point you lose track of the plot and you don't even care. You don't care. Like I always used to say to people, go to the first Lethal Weapon movie, which we've all seen like probably 100 times, right? Yeah. Why are Riggs and Murtaugh walking up to that house when it explodes? Do you even remember why? No. Like sitting in the movie theater, you don't remember why.
Right.
I've seen it enough now that I remember why. It's because this prostitute lived there, and there was a prostitute that might have been connected to, the girl who jumped off the building at the beginning. But like, you don't care why. They're walking up to a building and it explodes, and you're happy.
It's a great explosion. 7 people were deafened by that scene. Like that's all we need to know.
Yeah.
I have not seen Lethal Weapon in 38 years. So
wow.
It's on the docket to watch with my son. He's getting into 80s, 90s action movies
and is it a Christmas? Is it a Christmas movie?
Yes. It starts out with Jingle Bell Rock.
All right,
next year. Well, it starts on the building, and they're playing. It starts on the L.A. skyline, and they're playing Jingle Bell Rock. Then she kills herself. Then it goes to the Christmas tree lot. Yeah, it's all Christmas.
Okay, great.
Murtaugh's house is decorated full of lights when they trash it.
Nice, I love it. Last week we did Rambo 2, which was a lot of fun.
That's not a Christmas movie.
No.
Not a Christmas, but a good action one. Yeah, I was just very impressed in general, laying out the clue trail and having it go kind of step by step. The boyfriend to the burned down house, the kid on the bike, like just amazing.
Kid on
amazing
that
scene.
You want to see my penis? Like that like that whole thing. Like I really was like, I mean, like there is like a degree to which I feel he manages to find the safe, like the good lane where it is very fun, inventive, like goofy, but it's not like it doesn't stray into Tarantino where it becomes completely heightened and stylized, and you're just like,
Right.
you're just like, oh, this is a non-reality. And he really pushes the challenge there because you've got stuff like the fucking bee dream in the middle, which which is just like, okay, like now we're really getting into like Terry Gilliam shit or whatever, but somehow it still has like like you said at the beginning, it's like, oh, this is what like two guys sound like joking around together. It doesn't sound like this is what like the two smartest, most like film literate people you've ever met sound like joking around together. Like there's no part of the conversation between John Travolta and Sam Jackson in Pulp Fiction that you're like, oh yeah, I've had a conversation just like this.
Like that.
Where
Because they all talk like Tarantino.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like in this one, you're like, oh yeah, this exists in the universe of some of the funniest conversations I've ever had. But like, like I'm not that smart, but like it's within it touches the realm that I'm familiar with. It's a very interesting challenge he poses to himself.
Really good. What do you guys think about Russell Crowe here?
That was my first point. I wouldn't say I am like the biggest Russell Crowe fan that's ever lived. Like I'm not against him by any means, but like his singing in Les Mis was pretty bad, and like whatever. Like there's things from I just like stopped paying attention to him at some point. I was so blown away by this performance by Russell Crowe in this movie. I was like, why? Where? When? How do we get this back? Where is it gone? And how do we get it back? Yeah.
And you really don't see Russell Crowe doing comedy. I mean, he's more the straight guy in it, which is an art of itself. But when he does land it, and some of the jokes are so great. Like I was wondering how Shane Black got some of those readings out of them. Like 'cause some of it is so pitch perfect, and I can't. I'd have to go back in my head. I'm sure when it comes up, it'll hit me.
Or to think that Russell Crowe was the guy that could do this stuff, because to talk about like Jonathan's point about like confounding expectation, like I went into this movie again knowing nothing. I assumed that Gosling was the good guy. Like Gosling was like the detective that was like, oh, like he's the one that's like really going to try to solve this case, and like Russell Crowe is going to be the heavy who like reluctantly kind of comes along for it. And like there's a turn where it's like, oh no, like it's Russell Crowe who's actually got like the he's the character with like the motivated ethical core, and Gosling is more the opportunist in this, who's like completely hapless because he's drunk all the time. And like for him to be for him to even putting aside the comedy, for him to be able to pull off that turn isn't something that I would completely
They did set up and pay off the did you fall?
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm invincible. I don't think I can die. So funny.
I think
it's so funny.
I feel like what Shane Black does so well in his writing, but could really die on screen in lesser hands, is the tonal acrobatics, right?
Yes.
These guys are like so unserious and broken and oddball, and then you have these moments where you really like feel the emotional tug of his relationship with his daughter and the loss of his wife, and Russell Crowe's kind of need to be useful and need to be worth something. And like, I think the reason you don't hire, and not, this is a knock on that movie, but if you look at movies like The Other Guys, right, which is a really good action comedy, right, but it's a comedy, right, and you need dramatic actors who can do comedy, who can also then bring you the drama. And it just and that's what's so satisfying about it, is these two guys apparently can do anything. So it's the depth of what they bring to each scene allows all these tonal shifts that you just go with.
Yep.
I love Healy with the daughter. Him with Holly. Being thoughtful with her.
Great kid actor, by the way. This kid.
Yeah, well, I was saying, what happened? Did she emerge?
Yeah,
Did she
she's
do
around.
stuff?
She's in things. She's
all over.
grown
She's got
up.
4 things coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got.
Oh,
she's
good.
got a bunch of
Yeah,
stuff.
She
she's
really
phenomenal.
fucking crushes this. Like she's there's so much in this that's a high wire act. Like that kid could have sucked. Like could not have
She
been
could
like
have been petulant or
could have
just
been
like
petulant. Exactly. That's like
Yeah.
how you would have expected it to fail.
Too plucky.
Like Russell Crowe didn't sell like the switch to it. Him actually being endearing. Like Gosling, you don't know he's gonna be that funny. Like the whole like it becomes too unreal because of the fucking Bumblebee shit. Like there's all these like high degree of difficulty turns in this movie that I was just frankly shocked to see. Again, going into it blind was a real delight.
No, I said before, I really think that film students should study this script. And I was railing last week to my writer's room about a television show I'm not going to name that I just watched. And I said they need to take this show to USC to teach everybody how to not write television. And I was so furious at how bad this show is. But this is one take to show them like just what it takes to do something original and to subvert expectations and to not waste a single moment.
Yes.
Like every moment serves a purpose. It's
So
just
two
fantastic.
things. One, we had Ryan Condal and Dave Mandel. First time we had Mandel on, he said he wanted to teach at USC someday Wrath of Khan, which to him is the ultimate script. And it does. The character beats in that are absolutely incredible.
Yes.
But the second one is, Jason and I have been arguing in the last couple of weeks because we have Avatar coming up. And for me, to go
Here
back,
we go again.
Rambo
Just
2, I
fucking
forgot that Rambo 2 was
relentless.
written by James Cameron.
She's
And
just
it's
fucking
a tight...
relentless.
It is a tight script, or Terminator 1, or Aliens, the tightest scripts that have ever been written for an action movie, versus 3 hours and 13 minutes long. It's hard to keep it together for that long.
Matt has been on a one-man crusade against one of the most profitable film franchises in the history of moving pictures. As just like, why isn't there an editor for James Cameron and Avatar? I was like, because his movies make $8 trillion, he can do whatever he wants. Like, and we're gonna go see it opening day in a large format and pay $80 or something for the privilege.
I know. We're going after Christmas, but I just saw Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair, and so that was 4.5 hours almost.
That's fine. That's no problem. Long movies are okay.
It was. I mean, they put an intermission in. They had a 15-minute pre-show, but man, it was great. Even my son. I took my 17-year-old, and he was not bored for a second. I imagine when I take everybody to see Avatar after Christmas, they will just be riveted to it.
Yes,
something
they're gonna fucking love it. They're gonna go to a world of fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. My 6-year-old
Matt?
daughter's obsessed with it. She loves it.
Really?
See?
Yeah.
How long has it been since the last one on Avatar?
5 years, I think. It's
5
only
years.
3?
Damn.
Oh, Way of Water. In my head,
maybe
it's 5, but I have
is
no
it
sense of
2018?
chronology.
Oh, God, who knows?
It's whatever.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. Oh, my
Pre-COVID.
God. I also just, again, the performances in here, back to Crow for just a second. Like his performances, the scene where he is reading the vocabulary word of the day, equanimity.
She betrayed him with equanimity.
Jack, I'm fucking your dad.
Yeah, it's just like that again shouldn't work because it's so there's a degree to which it's so self-pitying and kind of cliched or whatever, not the dad fucking part, that's crazy.
No.
I guess but the idea that he's down on his luck and lost his wife, that's such a cliche of a guy in that position. And to say she betrayed him with equanimity,
he received her betrayal.
he received her betrayal. It's better written. It's just great. It's just great.
That was amazing. I do want to ask about the L.A. Hills party and
that was a banger. Oh my God,
what it takes to film something like that. And again, you talked about it last time you were on, Greg, shooting the Friends and Neighbors with the trampoline scene and having that huge party. But when you see something like this on screen, does part of your brain just go into producer mode and you start thinking about it?
It actually did when I rewatched that. I was like, oh yeah, that. There's a lot of moving parts to this, and setting up all the debauchery and getting all those vignettes, and then getting the cast to go through it into figure out where you're going to be and how you're going to shoot the house and where you're going to do like him off when he falls off the ledge, like
Right.
all of those like moments are. But I was thinking about that as a location, as a piece. Also, you know, there are like, I came to LA in like the late 80s, and so that was like, I feel like I caught the last end of some of what I saw in there in terms of like, you know, those like late 80s, early 90s Hollywood things that you'd happen to stumble into or knew somebody who knew somebody. But it was, I
Did you
thought
set your
about
drink on somebody's body, on a statue's body?
No, it's nothing that crazy. But like, there was like, I think I remember like falling into the after party of the movie Ricochet with Denzel Washington, you know, and nice. Like, and then kind of like swept
That's
into.
a deep cut.
That's a good one.
I think so. And I worked for Joel and Dick on Double Tap, you know, when they started a small indie company together. So I was around that world a little bit and had friends working for Joel, and you know, his logo is the silver. It was fun seeing the Silver Pictures logo because it's one of the bricks of his Frank Lloyd Wright homes. Is what he designed that around. So
Jesus, that's a flex. I saw an interview recently with Magic Johnson. It was like, I think it was All the Smoke podcast anyway, and he was talking about. Magic was talking about what it was like to be Magic Johnson coming from Michigan, moving to LA, joining the Lakers as like, you know, like becomes like rookie of the year, you know, MVP, finals MVP his rookie year, and like has a tremendous breakout, becomes one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But like he's a young kid and he moves to LA, and what it was like to kind of be in LA at that time and going out to, he's like, so what kind of parties are you at? And Magic was just like, I saw some things. I was out with Dr. Jerry Buss. I saw some things that I'd never seen before. We didn't have in Michigan, and like, you know, like that level of decadence really was just
the show did a good job. I mean, Winning Time cut into that, you know, pretty well. I mean, that was a great show. I was bummed it didn't continue its run, but
I agree.
You know, you see how. It's funny. You see. They actually did a nice job in Winning Time in terms of that push and pull. You know, the devil on each shoulder. You know, his conscience and trying to decide like what was. You know, and you know the end of that story too. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Could I just celebrate the writing of this movie one more time?
Please.
Yes, please.
In the first 10 minutes or so of this movie, they manage to introduce you to both characters in a way where you know everything you need to know about them immediately. Gosling waking up in a suit in a bathtub, right, for no reason is given, right? and hearing that voicemail from his daughter as he's climbing out, like, you now know everything you need to know about this character for the most part, right? And then with Healy, it takes two scenes. It's the scene where he punches, well, his voiceover helps, but it's the scene where he punches the pedophile guy. But it's more when he's meeting with Amelia and she gives him the envelope, and thank God he's up and goes, "You're short." Like, and like, so in that moment, like, you know both of these guys so well, and then there were three lines at each of their first voiceovers, right? Healy says, "Marriage is buying a house with someone you hate."
Yes,
It's just such a brilliant little line, and then Gosling's first line is, I wish I wished for things. You know, which is just, I just think those are like just such sublime writing that just comes and goes, and you have to experience. And then on a completely different level, when they're fighting about the fact that he fell down the hill at the party, and he says, I was in the pool. And he's like, what the fuck were you doing in the pool? He's like, I had to interview the mermaids. Like, you know, like it just, you know, I had a question. Like, I don't know, just. As a writer who I just wrote a movie that was meant to be a Shane Black tribute that's, you know, not as successful as in this regard, that it's coming out in January. It's called The Wrecking Crew, but we all wanted to sort of do a Shane Black kind of thing, and like it's not easy to write that kind of stuff and to keep it consistent, and like just I think. And I know Shane, there was a writing partner on it. It wasn't just Shane, it was the other writer whose name Anthony I'm blanking on, and it was like. I just think every scene has like pearls. It just it's really just a level of writing, and maybe because it took them 10 years to make it, they just polish the shit out of it.
Right.
It's just so good.
Is the thing that's hard is that like it's just like coming up with lines that good, like having like a consistency of quality.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and that they matter,
Yeah.
right? It's like you could
Right.
probably come up with a good line. You're like, how do I bend this scene to fit this line into the scene, right?
Right.
But like, I don't know. I just find like, it really feels like two incredibly funny, smart, like people at the top of their craft, like the writing.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I will say also the film looks great. So this is shot by DP Philippe Rousselot, who did Dangerous Liaisons. Amazing movie. Henry and June, A River Runs Through It, Interview with a Vampire, Remember the Titans.
Wow.
And then Jason,
God.
just before Nice Guys, did Constantine.
Oh my god!
Oh wow!
I
I love Constantine.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
the look of Constantine. It's great and has our
And
beloved
then-
Tilda in one of her finest roles.
Yes, and then he did Shane's new movie, Play Dirty, which I haven't seen yet.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, I think that is just out or about to be out.
I will say, I don't think I want to do a podcast about that movie. I'm just going to say that.
Okay,
Fair enough.
All right, fair enough.
We'll get him on the next one. Also, I think the score and the needle drops in this are really good. I think the music plays a very important part in
Music's great.
setting the tone, and I think they did a really incredible job there.
I mean, this really does. I'm amazed that it was $50 million because there's something very epic about this movie.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just feels like I would have guessed more like 70 or 80.
It starts with a car going through a house, has this giant party, several like,
giant
set
set pieces.
Yeah.
And apparently they shot it in Atlanta for acting as Los Angeles, which is amazing.
Really?
I didn't know that. That fooled me.
Wait, which part? Which part?
I don't know. I think the downtown stuff. They were saying they had to figure out smog effects and different things to make that work. So it's pretty wild. Anything we missed? Anything else you guys want to make sure that we hit?
It's pretty good.
No, I think just
Crushed
Yeah,
it.
I think we covered it.
You know,
All
the
right,
only
well,
thing
then
the only thing we didn't hit.
No
which I'll
sequel.
call it- there's no sequel, right? There's no.
No sequel.
Um,
But did you hear that there was a proposal for a sequel called Nice Guys 2 Mexican Detectives? That was like all they had was the line. That was it. All they had was the title, and I don't remember what happened. Russell Crowe told this story.
Ryan
Maybe
Gosling
some-
is also one of the great interviews when he's out like promoting your movie. You know, like Ryan Gosling really knows how to give like good clips to people, whether it's like Graham Norton or like like whatever format he's in. He's gonna give something that's gonna go viral on a movie press tour, which I appreciate. It didn't necessarily help Blade Runner, but whatever. Like he gave good clips during it. The only other thing we forgot, this is now going to be a left field ad, but during Hatch News, we didn't talk about the trailer for the new Spielberg movie that dropped.
I just saw that it dropped, but I haven't watched it yet.
I just watched it this morning.
Brother,
Okay.
I am fucking hype for this movie. Like, it looks fantastic. Like, it looks absolutely fantastic. It looks like Steven Spielberg's like, you know what I'm going to fucking do? I'm going to make a genre picture that looks like a Steven Spielberg movie. I'm like, let's fucking go. Like, let's get Janusz to put away, like, the weird, like, blue-colored glass and all that
filter.
shit that he's been using for 10 years. Let's just make a natural-looking Steven Spielberg epic fucking science fiction movie. Like, let's do it today. I am stoked about this movie.
I like Josh
Very,
O'Connor
very
a lot.
excited.
I'm glad he's
He's
blowing up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems great.
And Emily Blunt.
Extremely watchable.
Emily Blunt. It looks like a phenomenal cast.
Gave first job to Emily Blunt.
Really? What was
Back on
that?
ABC show, a limited series called Empire. She played Kamine, the Vestal Virgin. That it was like Julius Caesar. Like it was in the wake of the movie Gladiator. They wanted to do a Gladiator series. So Jonathan Cake
Interesting.
was Tyrannus. It was right in the middle of a regime change at ABC. So it was it didn't turn out great, but it was cool and weird. And we shot it in Rome. And Emily,
that's cool.
Emily was
Wow.
one of her first jobs.
Very cool. Good job.
Is Josh O'Connor the one in Wake Up Dead Man?
Yeah.
'Cause I went to see that yesterday. It's weird because now I can watch it on TV, but I went to see it in
Yeah.
a theater because I wanted to
Yeah.
take my daughter, and Yeah, he is that movie. Like,
Really?
the to me the Knives Out part of it was wearing a little thin, but his performance is pretty stellar in that movie.
Cool. And Brolin too, right? Brolin is
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. I'm watching.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it last night. I was watching The Mastermind, which Josh O'Connor is the lead of as well. Has a good cast.
Cool. I like Challengers. I thought he was great in that.
He's great in Challengers.
Yeah.
Very charismatic. Like good at. I watched him on Saturday Night Live this weekend. I mean, he seems like he's everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
great.
he's everywhere.
All over it. Well, speaking of being everywhere, that brings us to our final question. Who would Tilda Swinton play? If you had to recast one role in The Nice Guys with Tilda Swinton, who would it be?
Tough one. It's a tough
I
one.
think she would be Blueface.
Oh, that's good.
I was going to go with John Boy. So we're on the same.
Oh, we were in the
wavelength.
same
Yeah.
page. Yes,
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
those.
there you
But
go.
Blueface is weirder.
Yeah, true.
The John Boy part we didn't really talk about enough.
Matt
Like,
Bomer, yeah.
What
Guys
a
in suits
weird
killing
fucking
people.
part that is. Like that's just a like again like a real they drew something up during
Well,
a
it
timeout.
worked because also that's where the period really works for it, right? It's like you let
Yeah.
strangers, at the door, and like things are not as like a lot of the stranger danger that it needed to like hurdle in order
Right.
to move the plot forward was aided by the fact that it was in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something about that dude's skin. Read as threatening.
That's what
His
people want to think. I
delivery
want
is
to be like,
amazing.
he has threatening skin.
He
That's a
does.
good,
He had
if there was a product that would give me threatening skin, I would use it.
He was like over moisturized to the point of giving like threatening translucency. Yeah.
I hear that.
Can happen to the best of us. You guys, we did it. We did it. Thank you so
Thank you so much,
It's
you guys.
It's great to see you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great to do this.
Remind folks, we have season 2 of Your Friends and Neighbors coming out.
April 3rd. I don't know if they've
April
announced. Yeah,
3rd.
they've announced it. Yes, April 3rd.
Very good. And then
Yes.
Lucky at sometime after
Yeah,
that.
I don't know the exact date yet. Yeah.
Cannot wait to get a
Yeah.
first trailer for that and see what that's going to look like.
And then
How
the
many-
Wrecking Crew's coming out January 28th on Amazon Prime. That's a big one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Marshall's March 1st. That's all.
Marshall's
That's
March
the
1st.
only one of the 6 things I have coming out this year that I know about.
That's awesome.
Okay. And Greg, but before I forget, for Spider Noir, do we watch the color version or do we watch the black and white version?
I mean, seriously, both versions are
They're
really.
putting both out.
They're putting both out at the same time.
That's
I mean,
cool.
I only watched the black and white version when I was shooting it. The color version is equally interesting to watch because the series is set in the 30s, and it still has all that like bright poppy color of the 20s that permeates. So we made sure that we like had an equally interesting color version. So although I haven't watched one frame of it in color, except for the tests and the occasional time the DP would switch over just to check that the color was working, I say watch the black and white version because I think that's more true to the period.
That's what I
the
would do.
references that we're using.
the
I mean,
atmosphere.
it was great to like be rewatching Maltese Falcon and Touch of Evil and all of those kind of films of that Eddie Dimitrix films and those things to get into the headspace of it. So, but it came out. I mean, I'm excited to see the final. Wherever I turned it in, I was really proud of that.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you guys. We will see you guys at the pictures.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having us.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
So
Great seeing you. Good to see you, JT.
Wow.
Great episode.
That was awesome.
Great time.
It's amazing to get that kind of behind the scenes access and information and stories and stuff.
They seem like chillers. I think we're friends now. I think we, we're going to get invited to some award shows is what I'm getting from this. That's what I'm sensing.
It seems likely.
I think we're getting invited, to the premiere of Star Wars Starfighter. That's what I concluded.
That was
from
your
this.
main takeaway.
My main takeaway was that we were on the guest list to hang out with Ryan Gosling at the premiere.
Sounds good. All right. Well, are you ready to get into some voicemails?
Let's go.
Okay. Here is our first voicemail.
Baby, this is Liz.
She's back. She skipped Rambo, but she's back.
I know, and it's guys. There's guys in this movie, but she's still here, so get ready.
She's still with us.
Hi, friends. This is Lizen. So, The Nice Guys is my best friend's favorite movie about two sociopath partners in crime who share a daughter together. Or is that just our favorite television series, Hannibal? Anyway, I think that all queer-coded or actually queer couples should have a hyper-competent daughter.
Yes.
Also, is this movie a queer text? I really don't know. I've never watched this movie, but boy, oh boy, have I read gay fan fiction about it. Merry Christmas, everyone. XOXO, Lizzie.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, there is the whole, like, do you want to see my dick part of this? Like, I do think there's something that could be read as that they are basically a gay couple that's raising a daughter together.
I like the fact that it works. I'm glad people are enjoying it. I don't see it in the text, but I appreciate that folks can.
Yes.
This is good. We support that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lizen.
Here is our next voicemail.
This is your brother, Animal Mother.
All right, here we go.
Hey, knock it off! There's a kid back there!
I'm in danger!
Hello, animal friends and animal lovers. The fuck-up action hero is a Shane Black specialty. His protagonists are quippy troublemakers deeply lacking in social graces. It's good these are comedic adventures, or we'd be in for some Zack Snyder grimdark bullshit. 13-year-old Holly March is the true champion of this story.
Yeah.
Pressed to grow up fast in a boozy, morally bankrupt environment, her steely decency forces two sad sacks, mixed up in a criminal conspiracy, to go out of their way and do the right thing. Her heartbroken dad and the fatherly man who broke his arm owe her a concrete effort to be better men, even as private dicks making a living through 1970s funky smut. It's me-he for you-who. Would you like to share a moment in which your own kids made you consider a change for the better? Thank you all. See you at the hotel pool and keep the change, you filthy animals.
That was one thing we didn't talk about. Is the other through line is, are you a good person?
Right.
I thought was a really effective and meaningful piece there. And I like that quite a bit. I also really like the moment where she comes back to help Blueface. And, you know, like there's just a moment of sweetness and earnestness of the desire to help someone, even a villain, in that moment.
I agree. I was listening very closely, but what the question was about. The question
is there a time where your kids have made you change your mind about something?
Oh,
Like
the
the
decision to have kids,
presumably to be a better.
No, I mean, I think it's interesting, like with Griffin in particular, because like Griffin is like kind of an echo of a lot of, Griffin has a lot of echoes of my own sort of anxious nature. And so I often feel like I was having the conversation with him. He was telling me the other night, that he's not lucky. That something went wrong. It's just because he's like, you know, he's not lucky. And I was telling him, I was like, dude, you know, if you wanna be lucky, you've got to think you're lucky. Like people who think they're unlucky, like never have good luck. Which I feel is a sort of like advice that would have really annoyed the shit out of me, when I was younger. But is something I actually believe now. So yeah, I don't know. There's some point at which I didn't believe that to be true, and then I ended up believing it to be true. Maybe as a result of having kids. Who could say?
Who can say? I mean, all these kids are like so far in the lucky column. It's like hard to like you're
totally
bursting out of the top of the frickin' luck.
Oh
meter.
yeah, exactly.
So it's like congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I would say the only thing, Cayman convinced me to watch Twilight, so maybe that's good.
Yeah. I bet that was a beautiful experience for you.
It's a very special experience.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Animal Mother. Here is our next voicemail. Mr. Java. All right. Let's do it.
Hey, everybody. It's LA's #1 Earth, Wind, and Fire cover man. Now I need everybody to get up out of the chairs, clap their hands. This is our biggest hit. And I want to welcome every one of you to the 1977 LA Auto Show. Let's go! Do you remember 20th night of May 2015, this movie, watching Gosling and Crowe would play a detective and a lake-breaking guy were trying to solve a mystery in LA, but they just don't have a clue. Hey, nice guys, it scores right on tomato. Nice guys, made a decent profit. Nice guys, coming to the pod today. I gotta know, what's the strangest, weirdest, or most interesting thing you ever saw at an auto show? Zoom, zoom!
Have you ever been to an auto show?
Listen.
No, I don't think I've ever been to an auto show. Do you come with the car?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm newly into cars, only in the last year or so. So I've only been paying attention to cars relatively recently. And as a kid, I wasn't as invested. And I'm trying to think of any time I've been to something oh, I got a good one. I got it. I may have told this story before, so stop me or fast forward. The year is 1998. I am a junior at Princeton University in Princeton, New Jersey. And my roommate, John, his dad is a corporate lawyer, maybe even the general counsel for LVMH, the luxury goods holding company of Louis Vuitton.
Oh, Louis Vuitton.
Moet Chandon, etc. For the Arnauds. Anyway, they had at this time, maybe they still do, a annual Grand Concours where they would rent out fucking Rockefeller Center in Manhattan, where the ice skating is, and bring in some of the nicest cars, nicest, most collectible cars, just a party for, their folks. You go, you get to see the cars all right in 30 Rock, in Rockefeller Center, past hors d'oeuvres, free drinks. And so John was like, do you want to go with me to this thing? And we went to this fucking thing, saw these $1 billion cars, ate all the hors d'oeuvres, and then Jamiroquai played as the entertainment for the evening.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So we watched
Virtual Insanity.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
played the shit out of that.
You bet they did.
I mean, they didn't have much else to play.
The album before was also good.
You're going to defend the extended discography of Jamiroquai right now? That's what we're getting into?
I don't know one.
Anyway,
that's great.
It was great. So there you go.
Nice. Nicely done.
There's a story.
I will say, now that I think about it more, for whatever reason, I've been revisiting. My dad restored cars. That was his big focus. So his specific passion was 1941 Cadillacs, and he had a national champion 1941 limousine as well as a convertible, and yeah, it's just really amazing, the idea of taking a car and going over every inch of it to absolute perfection in terms of restoration with not a blemish on the car, and scoring 92 or 94 points out of 100 on that car. He also restored 3.0 BMW 3.0 CS, which is a gorgeous, like 72, like 73, gorgeous car. And then, of course, I've talked about the 67 Alfa Romeo Spider Duetta. That's like the car of my dreams. Beautiful. So I would occasionally go to some car shows and go walk around and see stuff there. But it was mostly, just a ton of people hanging out, smoking cigarettes and looking at cars.
Right.
That was the main experience. Good stuff. Okay, here is our next voicemail. The Truth Sayer. Now, you've been in kind of a drought. You've been in a truth drought recently.
I've not done well. My truth sense is poor.
Let's see if you can redeem yourself. Let's see.
Hey, Alberia here for the nice guys. Love this movie, man. Grubby, smog-filled, porny L.A. Two schmuck private investigators taking center stage with a whip-smart kid. What's not to like? This movie's just a treat. But it can be hard out there for private investigators in Hollywood. Here's 3 stories about 70s Tinseltown crimes and the PIs who were brought in to solve them. 2 of these are false. 1 really happened. Time for the Truth Sayer. Number 1. In the late 70s, a major studio hired a private investigator to figure out which actor kept stealing typewriters from the lot. After weeks of surveillance, the culprit turned out to be a character actor who claimed typewriters were just too beautiful to leave behind. Or is it number 2? A PI was brought in by a period drama production after the prop department mysteriously blew through its herbal cigarettes budget. Turns out a background actor was stealing entire cartons and reselling them to UCLA theater students. Or is it number 3? A PI was tasked with discovering who kept vandalizing a massive Columbo billboard off Sunset Boulevard. The tagger turned out to be a disgruntled TV writer who insisted the graffiti was, quote, a necessary note. So, which one of these small-time Hollywood capers was true?
I'm going to go with number 1, the typewriter. I am
also going with number 1.
Okay, all right. This makes me feel good. The third one just feels like a little too clever. The necessary note, like that feels, and then the herbal cigarettes similarly feels like a little too clever. I just don't think you're gonna make that much money doing that.
Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it.
Now you got me in my head because you gave me this shit about being wrong for so long. So
this is your last chance for 2025.
Or I get fired.
Like,
I get
are you going to go out?
I get put on a PIP for next year.
You wish. All right, here we go.
All right, did you spot the true crime? It's number 1. It really
Yes!
happened in 1978 at Universal Studios, where IBM Selectric typewriters kept vanishing from the writers' bungalows. Private investigator eventually traced the thefts to character actor Jack Riley, better known as Elliot Carlin on the Bob Newhart Show. He claimed he took them because the machines were too beautiful to leave behind. Universal quietly recovered the typewriters and declined to press charges because, they knew better than to cross Bob Newhart. Here ends the Truth Sayer.
Dang.
Bob Newhart will fuck you up. You mess with his talent.
Exactly. Imagine him like a total swinging dick out there.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Beria. Here is our next voicemail.
Hey kids, it's Kev here. The nice guys. What a way to close out 2025 on Escape Hatch. It wasn't that long ago that I was in the theater on opening weekend watching the nice guys get underrated in real time. It's an incredible thing that only happens once every few years, right? You see a movie, you fall in love, you look around, no one knows what you're talking about. Luckily, I think Letterboxd culture has kind of helped keep the nice guys in the conversation, and that's been cool to see. But I don't, where were they opening weekend? Where
were they when Shane needed them?
Kev's question. Have you ever felt this about anything? About something you really, really love and then no one else knows what you're talking about? And then maybe sometimes that thing gets popular later and there was that feeling of where were you, etude? I have to tell you, I've built a reputation on this show of having... let's
terrible
call
taste.
It complete wackadoo taste. I can think of one. Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, that was going to be mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Congratulations on wrapping up 2025. I know that 2026 is going to be great. Right? And I will see you all in the next year. Peace and love and respect and goodwill towards men and women and everyone. See you next year.
Once again, it's Kev's Questions.
That's great. I was going to say Blade
2049
Runner
is good. It's
yeah,
good.
because it got some attention during the Dune 1 sort of like people are like, oh, fucking Denis Villeneuve, like it did get some attention then. Like my other ones on that list are like The Man, we kind of talked about on this podcast, like The Man Who Wasn't There, which I think is a Coen's brothers masterpiece that was not well loved. Like Llewyn Davis, all of like the one.
Obviously.
Oh God, why are you doing this to me? It's just terrible.
Conan the Barbarian, obviously.
Did that do badly?
It did fine. It did fine.
All right. What are yours?
I didn't. Blade Runner made money, didn't it?
It made money. It's just
like $300 million, I think.
It was just really expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, but people weren't crazy about it. People thought it was.
People weren't
too
crazy
long.
about it. Yeah.
It's a little too long. It's a little too long. We can.
It's
we can
perfect.
all
It could be
agree.
longer.
It's a little bit too long.
Kev, we touched on this. We've touched on this before. Kev's had a tough year, and we're hoping for the best for him for 2026. No one deserves it more than Kev. I will just say, as the 44th president of the United States said to my mother recently when he met her last week in San Francisco, it's going to be all right. So there you go.
Great. You couldn't see where I was on Friday. You couldn't just happen to be I could happen to be in San Francisco.
You were free?
Jesus Christ. I could have been free. All right, here we go. Here's our final voicemail. Yeah.
Hey, Patch, this is Corey calling from Austin, Texas, about The Nice Guys from 2016. Wow. I'm not really calling about The Nice Guys because I didn't get to watch it. I mean, I've seen it before, but it's been a really long time. The Shane Black of it all comes up, I guess, and, Russell Crowe. I like Russell Crowe. He's fat. Yeah. I like him when he's fat. Like, that's my favorite Russell Crowe. And, everyone loves the baby goose, right? He's really awesome. Anyway, I'm not really talking about that. I didn't even know we were doing another episode. It feels like we've had like 800 episodes in this December already. So I was a little thrown. I was out of town, visiting the in-laws, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, speaking of nice guys, you know who's a nice guy? I hear H is a nice guy because he's been sending thank you emails to voicemailers.
Really?
Funny, I haven't seen any myself. But I haven't checked my junk folder. That's probably where they are. There's probably like, I don't know, 1 million of them in there since I've been calling and leaving a voicemail since, we did the
oh
June
my
1994
God,
episode back in like 2020 or whenever the hell that was. I don't even know. It feels like we've been doing this pod for like 20 years at this point. I'm sure I've called in just about every episode. Yeah, they must have got lost in a little electronic shuffle or something, but it's okay. I get shout-outs every time. He says he loves me and stuff when I leave my messages on air, so that's always nice. So I don't think I really need email sent to me that says thank you, because I know my voicemails are appreciated. I mean, they're not anything special. There's no songs, no routines, none of that kind of wacky stuff. I don't have to overfill
just
the shit. I'm just calling in because I like to talk about the movies, right?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm just busting your balls. H, you are a fucking gem. I love you. Jason, I love you as well. Is this the end of the year? Is this the New Year episode? I don't fucking know. I love everybody in Escape Hatch. Everyone's great. I love all the listeners, even the ones who are just lurking around and don't call in.
Yeah.
Everyone is fucking awesome. Let's have a really great fucking 2026, right? We're going to do it together. Teamwork makes the dream work, motherfuckers. Let's go! 2026! Bye!
That's great. How are you not? You're sending thank you notes, but not to Corey?
Okay.
Wow.
Right, so first of all,
wow.
Usually I'm
Fucked
scrambling.
Up.
Usually I'm scrambling to grab the voicemails to get them encoded and get them uploaded and whatnot. Java, I sent you an email this morning at 6:02 a.m. Thanks, Java! ! I don't know if you missed that one, but Corey does not send an email, so I'm replying to emails that I've been getting from people.
Oh my God, dude!
And so
send a fucking handwritten note to Corey. Put some respect on his name. He deserves a bouquet of flowers from you for all the shit you give. We should publish what goes on in the voicemailers thread. with you fucking haranguing these people to deliver content to us during the holiday season, no less, where they're like, stressed out, trying to get their gifts up. And like Corey's like, how many episodes are we recording? Matt's like, don't even fucking ask questions. Just keep sending voicemails. Assume that there's an episode to record today, unless you hear otherwise.
Oh my God.
Another point.
I am barely hanging in over here. And I could not love and appreciate any more.
Well, I mean, you could love and appreciate enough to send a thank you note. There's a little bit more you could have. There's demonstrably that much more you could love and appreciate.
Let me just tell all the voicemailers, that's it for this year. We're done.
Good.
We made it.
That's great.
We made it. We're good.
We did it.
You
did it.
I just have 16 hours of editing between now and Friday, and Avatar on Thursday. So
you got to go to the movies during the day on a Thursday.
It's hard.
You have to go to the movies.
Jason, what do you have to plug?
I was gonna a couple things. One is just on thanking the voicemailers. A friend of mine who listens infrequently it doesn't listen every week or whatever. Was excited about our Rambo 2 episode. And was listening today and sent me a note. Being like, wait, you've got a guy doing Rambo song parodies now? I was like, oh yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. He's like, you're not beating the not a cult allegations at this point. I was like, nope. Hard to beat them, but
I got voicemail shout outs at drop off at the bus today.
Did you?
From a friend of Sam's mom, who went to, I think she went to high school with Joe a couple of years behind maybe or something like that. But, she had listened to the Lord of the Rings episode and was shouting out both Java and Animal Mother with the loincloth.
Yes. Unbelievable content. Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Wait, that's your plug?
Yeah, I'm gonna plug our podcast. It's going great. I mean, we already talked about the Spielberg movie. I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling good about by the time this airs, we'll be through the holidays. We're almost there. We've almost done it.
We're almost there. I got a very good feeling.
You got a very good feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Hang in, everybody. Peace.